Yo, what's up? Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Articulate Thoughts. Today is Tuesday, November the 15th. And today I'm going to go in a little bit deeper into some philosophical stuff and talk about a concept. And that concept is the external reality is a reflection of the internal reality. And I feel right now that's becoming a very prevalent theme in my head, especially in the past week, reading all these posts on Facebook about the US presidential elections. So this idea was introduced to me as a very young child, and as I grew up in my life, the theme was introduced to me in a lot of very different ways and in different perspectives and ideas. And through life experience, I eventually embraced this thought or idea as a universal fact and truth. And sometimes like I don't remember that this is the truth, and it kind of gets me to some sticky situations, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But when I first was introduced to this idea, I was about 6 years old, and I watched a movie called Enter the Dragon, featuring Bruce Lee. It's his most popular film and his first feature film in America, and it was very, very influential to me in a lot of ways. And in the beginning of the film, he's with his kung fu master, and there's this one specific line where he says, "There is no opponent. The opponent is an illusion." So I'm essentially fighting his idea was he's essentially fighting himself, and the opponent is just a reflection of his weaknesses. And in more recent times, that whole thought of there is no opponent and it's just an illusion came to the surface even more. I'm a fan of the UFC. I like following what's happening in the world of mixed martial arts. And Conor McGregor is a very prevalent star right now, and he's pretty much the most popular mixed martial arts fighter. He's the biggest star right now, and has he just this past weekend he broke a record. He's now a two-division champion in the UFC. So and he even said this himself. This is coming from a real mixed martial artist in modern day who is applying this concept, and he's probably he is the most successful mixed martial artist up until this point. And in an interview, he had said like the face of the opponent doesn't matter. It's just a body, and I'm basically that body is exposing my weakness, and I have to kind of work around those weaknesses and work on myself. So that's like from how I was introduced, and like modern day, and like how it kind of connected together. But throughout my personal life, I found this was a very hard concept to accept, because like when you look at it everyday life and the external reality, what's going on, it's so comfortable and easy to point the outside situations and circumstances and blame those things for what's happening in my life. Particularly with like people, it's so easy to say, "Oh, it's this person's fault. It's the government's fault. It's the doctor's fault. It's whatever." There was a long list of things that I was blaming and not taking responsibility for my actions, and things manifesting in my life because of what I was doing personally. And in my early 20s, I got into a really, really sticky situation, and I was just physically, mentally, emotionally all out of whack, and I basically hit rock bottom. And I remember being at this point where I was pretty much curled up in a corner, and I was very in a vulnerable situation. And I remember just screaming like, "I don't want this. I hate this. I want something else. Like, please." Like, I was just kind of begging for like a way out of this situation. And then that's when I realized that there's no one outside of me that could help me. Like my parents, my family, they love me a lot, and they would try to support me whatever they could, but ultimately I was the one that was in control. I was the one that was responsible for everything that was happening in my life. And it was a very scary situation for me, because I had to accept the fact that there was no one else, there was no hero, there was no reinforcements, no one was coming to help me, and I had to do this by myself. But over time, and like once I accepted that, then all these other opportunities and all these different things that equipped me to face that fact came into my perspective and in my life. And it was primarily in the form of books, audio training, people and circumstances, going to seminars and workshops, these types of things helped slowly embrace this idea that I have to take full responsibility. And there's a very big difference in my experience when I deal with people, and you could see the people that take responsibility for their life and people who don't take responsibility for their life, and how does things happen in their life. And I can understand, because in the past I didn't take responsibility, and I was reflecting everything that was bad in my life into my external reality, and it was a very comfortable position to be in. I would get that comfortable feeling of, it's not my fault, I'm the victim, there's nothing more I could do, there's just all these people that are broken and selfish or whatever, and I'm just the result, I'm the effect of it. And for a long time I just held on to that because it's a very comfortable and easy thought to practice. But ultimately what I was doing, I realized I was giving up my power, saying I have no control over this, it's not my fault. But then when I did have the courage to embrace the fact that it was my fault and I had responsibility, there was this weight off my shoulders, because if I created this, then I could create something different and something better. And it took time and a lot of effort to kind of reconfigure my thoughts and my actions, but eventually I took myself to a better position in life and was able to achieve things that at one point I thought I could never achieve. So I would say that's probably one of the most powerful things any individual could do for themselves, is to look at the mirror, be honest, and just accept the fact that you created everything, and know that if you created something bad, then you can create something even better for yourself. And I just kind of feel right now there's just a lot of that kind of situation going on with the presidential elections. There's just people who feel they're not in control of their life at all, and they're just kind of blaming, these people are racist, these people are sexist, and they're oppressing me, and all this kind of thought patterns and stuff. And I understand, again, it's very challenging to see how you could be contributing to your own that own situation and that feeling of powerlessness. But for me, this whole presidential election it's very reminiscent of that time where I was claiming that position as a victim. I was in a psychiatric ward and I saw Obama get elected to office, and I was just in this mental space of, okay, the world is changing, the world is going in all these different directions, but I have to control what's happening inside of me if I want to get to a better place. So my focus was turned inward, and from 8 years down later, I'm in the I would say the best position of my life. I just feel I've continuously gained momentum year after year, and I have to take responsibility for that too. And that's another thing I've learned over this time with this concept is, got to take responsibility for the bad and also for the good. So when there's something that I really enjoy and I really appreciate and I'm really grateful for in my life, I pat myself on the back and say, hey, you brought this into your life as well, so take credit for that. And that's just something I wanted to share today, and I hope that it was a great reminder, a great introduction. And in the past week I've been being more honest with myself. I'm still not a master at this concept. It's 5 minutes to learn, lifetime to master, and it's constantly reminding and reading books and drilling and talking to people who are experiencing it, and then just reiterating and getting different perspectives, using experiences to learn this concept better and just really get better at the entire action of embracing responsibility and taking control of my life. So I hope this was useful in some way, and if you have any questions or comments, maybe you want to share a story of a situation where you took responsibility and you realized that you were in power, and whatever was happening outside of you was a reflection of the inside. So if you want to share that story, that'd be greatly appreciated, and I would love to hear it. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week or not. Up to you. All right, so have a great day and enjoy yourself.